Good morning, guys. This is Jason Dowdy here with Weicker Realtors Tower Properties. And today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what to expect when it comes to what appraisers might look for if you happen to have an FHA, RD, or a VA loan, or a Minnesota housing. Minnesota housing sometimes is treated as conventional, but what do appraisers typically look for when they actually come into a home? So if you have one of those types of loans, some of the things, I'm just gonna point them out quick because I actually ran over to this house to take care of some stuff before we have an appraisal. And I had to put up some extra smoke detectors because the appraisers, depending on the appraiser, they like to see them in the bedrooms or within 10 feet. But typically you really gotta know, and most experienced agents are gonna know who's looking for what. But in this case, this appraiser is looking to have the smoke detectors in the bedrooms, okay? So let's just take a look at some of the things that they might be looking for. So I'm just gonna point out a few quick things for you, right? So when it comes to like safety things, that's their big thing. That's what they're looking for, right? So like the water heater, you see this spout here? This one right here is one that goes all the way down. That is a valve in case the pressure gets too high, that it's a relief valve, right? It's gonna let the pressure out of the tank and it's gotta spray down. It can't, spray to you. So that's just one of the things. Let's take a look at another one that's very common that I see. And like I said, these are just a few things that typically will get called out by an appraiser. They like to see the fuse panels. On the fuse panels, they don't want any open panels. You don't want to be able to touch any electrical. So if you happen to have something that, a bare wire or something like that, or a junction box where someone could actually stick their finger in, let's say like this one here, this is a junction box. We put a cap on this so that there wasn't any exposed wires. So like I said, that's something they like to look for as well. When it comes to stairways, another thing they like to see is hand railings that go up the staircase. So in this case, this house has one, so it's in compliance and it has it. The other thing they like to see, CO2 detectors. You wanna make sure you have one of those on each level of the home. Okay, I'm gonna turn some lights off here and we're gonna run upstairs. I'm gonna show you a few more things, okay? So those are just a couple things that I see in the basement that I want to look for. So as I come into the kitchen and I see the garage, we're going to want to make sure we have a fire barrier if you have an attached garage between the house and the garage. So in this case, we have a steel door, and sometimes you need to have a steel rated door, fire rated door, and you can look for it. Now this one I don't see it, but usually there's going to be a tag somewhere along the side of the door that's going to tell you how much time you have before, if there was a fire, before it would burn through the door, okay? Now, firewalls. In the garage, you can see here, this is all sheetrock, right? Now that sheetrock, it also works as a fire barrier as well. So an appraiser is gonna look for that. So we wanna make sure we have that. Let's go in the kitchen. Now, a general rule of thumb is if you have anything near a water source, electrical. So over here, we have a GFCI. And a GFCI, I'll kind of zoom in here just a little bit. A GFCI is one of those systems that will trip if you happen to drop water into the sink. So the easy way to think of it is, if there's an outlet within 4 feet of a water source, you're gonna wanna make sure you have a GFCI. Now, that includes things like the kitchen sinks, the bathroom, and even the washing machine. If you happen to have a sink, utility sink, or around your washer dryer, you're gonna wanna have one there as well, okay? So you can see up here, we've got the carbon monoxide detector again. Now in the bedrooms, like I was saying before, we wanna make sure we have that guy right there installed in the bedrooms. And of course, read the directions on a smoke detector, and they'll tell you how far from the ceiling it needs to be installed. So those are a couple things you're going to look for when you're having an appraisal. Jason Dowdy, Weicker Realtors Tower Properties. I look forward to opening your door to pay your dreams.